Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Virtual Racing, welcome to Assetto Corsa, and welcome to the EDRC 2023 by LKW Tyler 24.de. We're here for the fourth round of this wonderful championship, a very busy grid ahead of us, and a great circuit here at Donington Park. We're on the GP circuit as well today. It's going to be a fantastic night of racing. So much action ahead of us here, and a lot of argy-bargy, that is to be sure. We've had a lot of fun since Harama, waiting for this round and, of course, preparing. The drivers have been putting in a lot of testing time and practice time. I'm super excited to see what they come up with for tonight. But this is now getting into the later stages of this championship. Only 2 more meetings after this one, but we start by having a look back at the previous round of the championship at Harama. Norbert Kiss got another pole position, but as you see here, there was a very tight squeeze into the first couple of corners, with Norbert Kiss getting caught up in all of the mayhem. So much contact and a lot of damage for some of these guys, but still, they managed to push on and get through the race. Lucas Hahn even involved in that, as well as the number 91 machine, which you saw there, which was Attila Lazar. Luckily, though, everyone got away with it. There was a bit more argy-bargy, though, at the top of the hill as some trucks tried to defend their positions. And Robin Kreuthoff, who unbelievably has come away from this meeting as one of the highest placed drivers in the championship, even ended up over the barrier at certain points of the meeting. You can see this contact here, which sends him way off the road and out wide. Big hit there from the number 96 machine, which is Jose Maria Rosa. Lucas Hahn and Norbert Kiss started fighting their way back through the pack, though, and there was plenty of contact between the two of them, but it was all very good fun to watch, I must say, from here. We could understand a bit of frustration from some of the drivers, but it certainly looked like a right laugh from where we were. Norbert Kiss there really getting his elbows out down the inside of Lucas and showing the Iveco driver exactly how it was done. But more and more contact coming, and a bit of retaliation from Norby, showing some frustration, as I say, that these drivers don't want all of this contact. They want to try and avoid it and race as cleanly as possible. But at a place like Harama, with all of the hairpins and very hard braking zones, it was very difficult to get right. Robin Kreuthoff showing them how it was done, though. The Rainbow Warrior was a real star over the course of the evening. A bit more contact here from Jose Maria Rosa from Hahn into the back of Norbert Kiss, and another couple of kisses as well, as they all held each other up. As round the outside, Norbert Morvai making his move, a very opportunistic manoeuvre indeed. He then tried to have a go at Nathan Smith and make further positions, while more and more contact prevailed. You can see just how cumbersome the trucks can be in a very far from ideal scenario around the hairpins that they have. At Harama, they certainly struggled in some of the slower corners, but it was Angel Rapero that was doing a great job at the front of the field. The number 87 machine racing for himself, basically. He's not part of a team this season, actually, is Angel Rapero. Apologies. He had Jorge Vila behind him, and those two were starting to clear off at the front of the pack. A good near 9 seconds clear of Alvarez in third position. The battle's carried on inside the top 10, though. Lugosi and Kerry having a good old ding-dong here. Showbox Kerry in the blue truck, while behind them, Enrique Marcos in the Mercedes wanted to try and taste the glory as well. He was looking good, though, was Enrique, because he knew that he would be on pole position for the second race if he just finished in 8th position. The top 8 from the first race get reversed on the grid. Kerry was trying to hold on in front, though, and only just losing position after position. It was Enrique Marcos's for the taking as they went back up the hill once more. A tough time, though, for Marcos, trying to determine whether he wanted to sit there and wait for an opportunity or whether he wanted pole for the second race. Norbert Kiss here going past Jose Maria Rosa. A little bit of a kiss here and there, though, as they went back down the hill. As you'll see here, the trucks do bounce off each other quite a lot when there's contact. Norby thinking better of it for the moment and waiting for a better chance to make the move. Again, you can just see there the amount of steering lock these drivers put on and how hard they have to push to get it all right. And it's just as difficult as it would be in the real world, except you don't get as much of the feeling in the sim that you would in the real machines. You don't feel the G-forces and the weight of the vehicle moving underneath you. Angel Rapero took the race win, though, at the start of the night, and it was a perfect start for him and his countryman, Jorge Vila, with Alvarez finishing in third position as well. And, well, the donuts and drifting and celebrations began very, very quickly ahead of the second race of the night. As you can see, superior vehicle control by these guys, showing why they are as quick as they are and always at the top of the pile. Kerry was top of the pile in race 2 on the grid, thanks to the reverse grid. He finished the first race in 8th position, so would then start this one from pole. He had to deal with Enrique Marcos while there was more argy-bargy in the background, and race 1 winner, Angel Rapero, was thrown off the road and involved in a big old shunt that would cost him vital championship points. Jorge Vila tried a lot of manoeuvres on a lot of drivers around him, unfortunately here catching the number 23 of Maximilian Mas, but getting away with it as they went back up the hill. Norbert Kiss trying everything as well to try and get through and make early progress in the race. It wasn't like Norby to be this far down the order, and he was not enjoying having to fight through this many machines in front. But of course, at the same time, he's always up to the challenge, is Norby, and he was pushing on very hard lap after lap. A great sight there was all of these trucks thunder their way down the start-finish straight at 160 kilometers an hour, 100 miles an hour, as they are limited to. Everybody trying their best to find what tiny spaces they could to make a move. Looking back here from Chabok's Kerry, the race leader, Enrique Marcos was going very well, but part of a train that was all getting held up. Kerry not quite on the pace of those behind, and there were so many of them waiting to have a go and just try and take any opportunity they could to slide up a position. Robin Kreuthoff here under attack from Norbert Kiss as he tries to get past the number 32 machine of Christian Legosi. Legosi not giving up a single inch of road, though, and the guys behind having to work really hard to try and squeeze in front. Eventually, though, Enrique Marcos took the race lead from Kerry, who dropped down outside of the top 10 in the later stages of the race. But a great battle on the final lap between Enrique Marcos and Jorge Vila, who finished second in the first race, was great fun to watch. Vila gave Marcos a little bit of a push into the final moments, but it was not going to be enough. And Enrique Marcos comes out of the final corner and takes the victory in the Mercedes Actros. A very popular win indeed, and the Spaniards certainly came strong on home soil for the third race meeting of the season. Great fun to watch as ever. Plenty of argy-bargy, plenty of overtaking, and we're hopefully going to get more of the same action tonight. Jari Stark gets one of the Bagheera Freightliners onto the podium, and we now look forward to tonight's racing. There is your timetable at the bottom. We've got practice underway. Qualifying will be starting any moment now, and then we will have race 1 with a small break in between for race 2. Of course, the grid on race 2 will have the top 8 reversed. Here's a look at the drivers, though, that will be taking part this evening. We've got another absolutely stacked grid. Norbert Kiss and Sasha Lenz, the two drivers from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, will be back with us again this evening. Sasha, as I've been speaking to the wonderful Gero Mulkow behind the scenes, who is the broadcaster tonight and the German commentator, we've been saying about how busy Sasha is actually ahead of this new championship with so many vehicles in the workshop. He's going to be building a lot of racing trucks this year, but as I've heard from many a driver and many a person in the paddock, Sasha knows exactly what he's doing and makes some of the safest and best racing trucks you can get. Lucas Hahn is there in number 22 as well in his Iveco S-Way once again. He was involved in a lot of the argy-bargy last time out. I'm sure he's going to try and avoid that this time. John Newell as well in the number 18 MAN, another driver, in inverted commas, from the real world, let's say, that does this outside of the sim. And another great lineup of drivers in there. Marcos and Morvai, especially Nathan Smith, Manuel Alvarez, all of them drivers that were right up there in Harama. Jari Stark was also up there with Christian Legosi. Jamie Anderson, I'm hoping, is back with us again this evening. I'm just looking down the timing at the moment, but I do not see Jamie on our list, unfortunately, so I'm not sure that we're going to get the MAN driver here tonight. David West, another solid result from him at Harama. He's going to be looking for more, though, this time out. So, too, will Robin Kreuthoff. Robbie is right up there in the championship standings in third position, only 4 points behind Norby. We'll get onto the championship points in a minute, though. Watch out for Max Schwerty as well in the Volvo FL. We've finally got someone to drive the Volvo. Keep your eye on him, number 58. He's currently in... Oh, I can't even see him on the timing screen, actually. At the moment, he's down in 28th place, but he's not actually gone out to set a time yet, so that's an unfair representation. Jose Alemani as well, the number 73, is one to watch, and so too, like I said, Jorge Vila, number 66, a real star of this championship. We do still have another page worth of drivers, though. Like I say, it's a very busy grid. There's a lot of them to look at, and each individual one of them could come out of the woodwork and surprise us with some real competitive driving. Great to see Mark Taylor in the new livery as well. Mark is actually going to be racing in that truck this year in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's going to be Sasha Lenz's old MAN TGS, which he raced last time out, and I'm super excited to see Mark in the championship. Can't wait to see him out there, and hope for his sake that it all goes well. Looking there as well, Angel Rapero. We've also got Tibor Szabo, number 92, another one of these Scania T-cabs on the grid, which is great to see. We've got a Renault MKR, Adrian Bueno, driving that machine. He's certainly going to be an interesting one. We've got Gergo Balai, teammate of Norbert Kiss in this series, Revage Sim Racing, in that gorgeous dark green, almost metallic-looking number 86 truck. We also have Jose Maria Rosa, who could be a front-runner in this meeting as well. I mentioned the championship points not long ago, that Robin Kruithoff is right up there, and there you see it, look, very, very close between the top three. Seems, again, I've got my points wrong, unfortunately. Sorry. Norbert Kish, top of the pile. Enrique Marcos and Robin Kruithoff, second and third, but tied for second place ahead of Lucas Hahn. Jorge Vila in fifth place. Angel Rapero, sixth. Manuel Alvarez in seventh, but still only 31 points between the top seven, 40 points between the top eight. We've got Gergo Balai and Norbert Morvai tied for eighth place, and Jari Stark inside the top 10 as well. It's very, very close. I'm certainly looking forward to how this all pans out after tonight, because we are getting into the later stages of the championship now, and this is an important time for them. It really is, because they need to set themselves up for a decent last couple of rounds in the series. And it's very easy as a driver to just get greedy with wanting points and push it that little bit too hard, and unfortunately affect your own race. The team standings are Revage Sim Racing at the top of proceedings, and then behind that we have Hahn TMA team, where there's 31 points between them. Dutch Truck Racing in third on 362 points, and then Urban Sim Racing 323. They're 100 points off Revage Sim Racing, though. Not much change in terms of the order in the top three, but the mid-pack, it's been moving around quite a bit. There you go. There's another look at the standings. This is Sim Racing in fifth place, 103 points off. It is remarkably close, though, between all of them behind. And that's what we love to see, because you never know how the championship will pan out, how it will change, even just from one race meeting to the next. There's always something to look at in this series. All the drivers at the moment are just out there going through practice. Going through qualifying, I believe, actually, which is now underway. And there's going to be a bit of nerves around the drivers tonight, I'd say, because this place, Donington Park, gives you absolutely no time for rest at all. It's going to be really, really tough for them, especially on the Grand Prix layout as well, where you go left at what would be the final chicane and then down towards the hairpin. I believe it was made for motorcycle racing, that section of the circuit, just to make it longer and give it Grand Prix status. But then Formula 3000, I believe, was the first type of sort of racing machine to go around this track, and admittedly, not many of the drivers. A bit of a Marmite circuit, as we call it. Some people absolutely adore it. Other drivers, not so much. They're not so much a fan of it. Here is Norbert Kish, championship leader. You'll be happy to know I've actually printed out the right championship points now, so my apologies. I was talking absolute lies before. But Norby, as you'd expect, still leads the championship hunt. And he has a good couple of points over his rivals behind Enrique Marcos and Robin Kuritov. Lucas Hahn currently second in this session, and this is qualifying, 6.5 minutes left to go. You can see that pretty much everyone is out on track. There's a couple of personal bests coming in here and there, but none from Norby or Lucas at the minute. Lucas throwing the number 22 Vico around. Hello everybody that's in the YouTube chat tonight. Good to see you all. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying the show so far and looking forward to some solid racing action. Once again, I'm Chaz Draycott, the English voice of the real world Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's great to be here on Virtual Racing. Thanks as ever to Loudspeaker Agency and to Giro Mulkow for making this work. It's great fun to be here and supporting this excellent series. Great championship, so many amazing names racing here. It's a joy, it really is. But I hope you're all enjoying yourselves wherever you may be around the world tonight. I know we've got fans from all over here to support their favourite drivers this season. There is Robin Kuritov. As I said, he's third in the championship, tied with Enrique Marcos at the moment. Enrique, the number 14 machine for Panos Albacete Truck Racing. He's going to be feeling the pressure now to make sure he performs well tonight. Here's Attila Lazar, truck number 91, just coming around the final couple of corners now, actually, around the last hairpin. Down the hill, hard on the power. And the number 91 Scania crossing the line now for HVML Team Pro. That's the Hungarian Virtual Motorsport League. He stays in 9th position with that. He only did a personal best sector 1. Here's Manuel Alvarez, truck number 8. Currently position number 8 as well, as trucks off ahead of him at the final hairpin. Manuel's done a personal best sector 1. And as he crosses the line, it is no improvement on sector 2, so his lap does not improve his position. Here's Andras Roos, also crossing the back straight now, where the Dunlop Bridge used to be, just where he is now. Unfortunately, said bridge no longer there. Through that chicane, which is a massive challenge for these trucks. You and I all know that change of direction is not something that these trucks completely excel in, let's say. Andreas Roos just coming out of the hairpin now, and this is something that Giro and I were talking about before we went live this evening, that the acceleration up there, sorry, I could not find the word for it then. The acceleration, the turbo lag up there is going to be key tonight. The drivers really need to keep it tidy and make sure that they've got decent RPMs before they head up the hill. Because if they do not, they will not get the power, they will not have the turbocharger spooled up, they won't get the kick out of the corner that you want. Here's Javox Kerry, currently 13th fastest at the moment in the number 79 machine. Looking at where Kerry is in the championship, currently in 18th position, tied with David Bala from HVML Team Pro, both of them on 77 points, 104 off the top spot. And we now look at Christian Lugosi. Lugosi's a bit further up in the championship, 13th place. And then there is Gillian Christian. Not inside the top 20 as far as I know is Gillian Christian. Apologies, 16th place. Is the retro looking Bjorn Tyhus in truck 51. I love this livery and I love the DAF CF. It is so cool, that machine. One of my absolute favourites out there. Looks belting, doesn't it? We have Bjorn and Henry Tyhus in this championship. Both of them had a tough time at Brands Hatch, to say the least. There's John Newell doing what we've all done before, and just following Jose Maria Rosa off the road there. It's so easy. If the vehicle in front of you makes a mistake and goes off the road, it's way too easy to just slide off and follow them off the track. Like I say, we've all done it, we've all been there. Here's David West in his customary 20th position. He always tends to be inside the top 20 or just on the very edge of it. And there's Max Schwerti. Max in the Volvo FL. Lovely to see him out there. But Lucas Hahn just popping up again into second position. As the Volvo now gets underway. Max just lining it up out the final corner to get a decent punch, or is he going in the pits? Now he's going into the pit lane, so my mistake. No such fast start to the lap for him. Here's Jose Alemany. Going down the crane of curves at the moment. Crane of curves, I should say. It's a big old challenge down there to get it right down the craners. Look now at Zentai. Another one of the Gira Freightliners. Here's Henry Tyhus, the teammate of Bjorn. Henry not driving a DAF CF though, he's actually driving in a Scania for this championship. A much older bodied Scania though. They really do have a retro look about them in that team. I do love it. Here's the number 89 truck of Rising Suns. That was Andreas Wagner. And here is Mark Taylor in this gorgeous, newly wrapped, newly designed racing machine for 2023. Doesn't that look fantastic? It is the MAN TGS, previously raced by Sasha Lenz. Sasha went, oh, hello Mark. Sasha went, of course, second and then third in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And Mark is certainly putting it through its paces at the moment. He's really throwing it about. But I, for one, obviously as a English commentator, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Mark gets on this season. Interesting pit lane layout as well for this championship tonight. Got all the mechanics in sort of 2 rows in the pit lane. Norbert Kiss is on a lap now to finish qualifying as the timer hits 0. There's a couple of personal bests coming in from people here, but not too many. Robin Kreuthoff did 2 fastest sort of personal best sectors anyway on his previous lap. A couple of them in the pits now as the session has come to a close. I don't think Norby's going to improve here. He's not improved in sectors 1 or 2, so I think he knows that his session is done. He's just getting more time under his belt. At the end of the day, you can use the end of qualifying as practice as such. And Norby crosses the line with no lap time improvement. Let's just see if there's anyone else that piles in a fast lap. A lot of them are just resetting back to the pits, so you may see them just suddenly appear in there. Can't see anybody else with any green sectors at the moment, so it looks like that's going to be it. Norbert Kiss is going to take another pole position here in the Virtual Racing EDRC. Very well done to Norby. That's what we expected, isn't it, at the end of the day? We all know just how quick he is. Up through McLean's. McLean's is going to be a difficult corner to get right in a truck, and even Koppis here, the right-hander at the top of the hill. They're both almost blind as you get to the apex. And you've got to balance the back end of the truck on the exit there. Make sure the back end doesn't step out too much. Really interesting, though, to see that we've got our two of our real-world drivers on the front row of the grid, Norbert Kiss and Lucas Hahn. The two of them have come together on the real circuit and on the virtual one as well. David West in the chat in the server saying, wow, so many trucks. I think Max Schwerty and David had an incident earlier on. Max saying sorry and David saying no worries, it's only practice. So clearly a little bit of contact here and there, but nothing too untoward. There's good camaraderie and sportsmanship between the drivers, to be fair. As there you go, the session ticks over. Everybody is transported back to the pit lane. And we will have the first race of the night in just a moment's time. The server will be getting set up now. All the trucks will be slotted into their grid positions. And we'll be able to take you around Donington Park at full race pace very shortly. We will, of course, have a warm-up lap, like a green flag lap, at basically safety car pace. And then the entire field will get us going and the race will begin. Let us know in the YouTube chat, though, who have you got your money on? Who do you reckon that we're going to be seeing in the top step of the podium? And who even do you think we're going to see inside the top 10. It could be anybody. You never know. It can very easily go one way or the other. And tiny, tiny bits of contact or just a tiny little bit of outbraking, even when drivers outbrake themselves, can throw the race into complete chaos. We just wait now for said server to get set up, and there are all of the trucks on our gorgeous grid here at Donington Park. Some of them will even go around the final corner as well, so you will not see all of them right there in front of you in a straight line. Some of them will be starting on a corner, which will be really tough. But that's part of the challenge here in sim racing, especially with such a huge grid as well. We've got a lot for these guys to think about. But it's Norbert Kiss starting on pole position with Lucas Hahn alongside him. Two drivers with a lot of experience. Lucas, a real star of the future. We're hoping that Lucas does a full championship again in 2023. I say again, we're hoping he does a full championship in 2023. Of course, won a race outright at the Nürburgring last year. A very emotional moment with his father, the great Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kiss has now made it 4 titles in 2023. And he's well on his way to being one of the all-time greats as well. Behind them, though, a very big challenge in the form of Enrique Marcos and Angel Rapero. The two of them were amazing at Jarama. And I'm sure that they're going to go well around here at Donington tonight as well. It's another twisty circuit, quite narrow, a bit old school, you know, unforgiving here at Donington. It is one of those tracks where there's not really any runoff anywhere. You can't get away with pushing the truck a bit too wide out of the racing surface. You don't gain anything from it because you'll just maybe clip the grass. You can see an aircraft taking off there from East Midlands Airport, which is just over the horizon, right next to Donington Park. If you've never been there in person, I do urge you to go. It's a great place to go if you enjoy watching some motorsport while doing a bit of plane spotting as well. There's almost constant aircraft in or out of East Midlands, of all shapes and sizes as well. You tend to get a lot of huge freighter aircraft heading into there. There's a few airlines that actually do a bit of takeoff and landing training there. Ryanair have done that for quite a while. But you also get small sort of business jets as well, and a lot of general aviation traffic. So a bit of everything for everyone at Donington Park. As you see now, we just wait to get the show on the road. We've got 3¼ minutes that we've been sat on the grid here. I believe it's a 5-minute grid timer where we just sit to wait for everyone to be fully prepared and ready to go. I'm interested in the third row of the grid as well, by the way. Norbert Morvai and Gergo Balai, the Iveco and the MAN, they're right together on that third row of the grid, with Robin Kreuthoff ready to encourage them on, let's say, in the next position behind. As the timer now is about to tick down to 0, and we're going to start our warm-up lap. So this will be basically a green flag lap, I should say. So we sit at almost safety car pace around the circuit, because in this championship we have a rolling start. So everyone makes their way off the grid now. Norbert Kiss leading them away with Lucas Hahn in second position. Second row of the grid is going to be Enrique Marcos and Angel Rapero, two drivers that were awesome fun to watch at Jarama. I know they will be once again today. We have Norbert Morvai next up with Gergo Balai on row 3, then Robin Kreuthoff in 7th place. Manuel Alvarez will start alongside him on the 4th row. 5th row is going to be Attila Lazar in 9th place. Andres Roos in 10th. Then it's Jari Stark and Maximilian Maas on row 6. Bjorn Tyhus will start in 13th place. And Shavok Kerry in 14th. Christian Legosi is 15th, with Gillian Christian next up. And then we have Nathan Smith and John Newell on the next row of the grid. Christian Artiseros will start alongside David West. Again, 20th place for David West. He seemed to always be in 20th. Then we have Max Schwerty in the Volvo. Jose Alemani alongside him in 22nd. Then it's Gyula Zentai, Henry Taihus, Andreas Wagner, Mark Taylor, Hendrik Neitsch, and then Tibor Jabo. And as you may have seen just a moment ago, at the very top of our timing screens was Jose Maria Rosa, who had to nip back to the pit lane for some reason, but he's now taken to the circuit and is pushing on to try and catch up with the train here. I'm afraid he may have undone his own race here, and we'll have to start from the back as everybody gets rolling. Norbert Kiss leads the field through the chicane. It's a lot safer for them all to go single file through there, let's face it, rather than going too wide. And now they will form up once again. 2 more hairpins left to go though, so you may still see some of them single file into this part of the circuit. Lucas Hahn alongside him on the front row of the grid. I've never met anybody with as broader shoulders as Lucas Hahn. He's built like an absolute tank. I'm not quite sure how he fits in a sim rig, but I'm sure that he will be racing with a big old smile on his face. He's a very happy guy, is Lucas Hahn. I love him to bits. And I know that he's going to enjoy the opportunity to go door to door once more with Norbert Kiss. So it's the 4th race meeting of the season in the Virtual Racing EDRC 2023 by LKW Tyler 24.de. And right now, the 7th round of the championship from Donington Park is underway, and Norbert Kiss gets a great launch. He absolutely disappears away from Lucas Hahn, who covers off Enrique Marcos down the inside. He's got Angel Rapero trying to go around the outside. This truck's off on the right-hand side, and losing it is Lugosi. Nathan Smith's into him. Unbelievably, Lugosi makes it back through, spinning across the pack without being completely collected by anyone else. Not a clue how he got away with that, but that was a big old moment. It looked like he was trying to go down the inside on the grass. Lost it on the brakes, and around he went. His teammate is right up there as well, Norbert Morby, in front of Robbie Kruithoff. And there is Gergo Balai, 6th position at the start of the lap. He's dropped down now into 7th place behind Kruithoff as they make their way up the long sweeping left-hander now towards McLean's. Not that long a lap here in these trucks at Donington Park. This race may seem a bit shorter than some that we've had before, but still a great looking field, all making their way through. Doesn't look like there's anybody else that's really dropped off completely. Jose Maria Rosa is still catching up. He's only just going through the old hairpin at the moment. That's a look down the inside there by the number 89 of Andreas Wagner, but he's run wide and wide and wide on the exit of Coppets. He's going to come under attack now from Taihus, but it's Norbert Kiss once again for Revesh Truck Racing Team leading the way. Truck 1 P1, excuse me, sorry. Lucas Hahn, 2nd place. Enrique Marcos in 3rd. Enrique's been doing a great job recently. He's currently 2nd in the championship, tied with Robbie Kruithoff. So if he can finish a good few positions ahead of him up the road, he'll be happy. That's Attila Lazar looking at the back of the number 86 machine of Gergo Balai. Balai very sideways on the exit of the hairpin. Hold on to the brakes now, the final corner here. Really tough at Donington. As down the inside, Lazar tries to get in there. They're very boxy and square. Scania not quite able to do it. Nathan Smith side by side in the background there with Bjorn Taihus. Manages to get in front. They've got one of the Bagheera Freightliners in there as well. That's Maximilian Maassen, the number 23. Still side by side with Taihus. Goes all the way over to the left. Uses part of the pit lane to try and go down around the outside into turn 1 as, Kerry sends it in on Newell, sends it in on Artiseros. And that was not elegant at all by either of them, unfortunately. I think they all tried to brake as late as they dared there. Spent many a funny evening in the paddock at Brands Hatch with John Newell. He's a really funny guy. He's in it for the love of it, is John. He's great. And he's now in the thick of it here as well in the MAN, virtually. Attila Lazar, 8th place at the moment, chasing down Balai with Alvarez just behind as well. Alvarez, another one of those drivers in the Mercedes-Benz Actros, which is truck number 8. Just ahead of them up the road is one of 2 Scania T-cabs that we have in the championship tonight. This is Robin Kruithoff. The other Scania T-cab is being driven by Tibor Jabo for HVML Team AM. HVML have got a lot of drivers actually out there in this championship, so a well-represented group. The Hungarian support as well for Norbert Kiss, and his team is massive. You know, it's lovely. It really is. He's so well praised as an amazing driver that he is. You know, he's got such a great fan base, such loyal support. He's a real superstar of truck racing. Look at them all making their way out of the hairpin. As I said before, it's so important for them to have the right RPMs as they get out of there. Make sure that the turbo is spooled. Make sure they've got all the power, all the shove. Speaking of shove, Kruithoff there giving Morvai a little bit of a nudge, and he now gets side by side with Angel Repero at the final corner. On board from the Kruithoff eye view in the Scania T-cab with that long nose off the front of the windscreen. Repero is down the inside into turn 1 and keeps the place. Morvai trying to put more and more pressure on him though. To go down the crane, as this is such a terrifying part of the racetrack. I've been down there before in a Porsche Cayman GT4 car, and unbelievably while we were turning left, the driver was actually steering the wheel to the right because we were in the wet. It was with a young man called Charles Clark in Into Racing, and he was just awesome, really awesome, but it was still absolutely terrifying. Kruithoff though, throwing everything he can at Morvai at the minute. But here is second in the championship, Enrique Marcos, doing everything right at the minute, staying with Lucas Hahn. Lucas is fourth in the championship as well, 6 points off the back of Enrique, so Enrique needs to defend his honour slightly, you could say. Down towards the chicane again. A little bit of a gap opening up behind them now, which is important. So Enrique can maybe try and attack on Lucas at some point, because he doesn't need to worry about being instantly overtaken from behind anybody else, as Gary Stark throws his truck one way then the other. All over the back of Andras Roos. Number 48 MAN. Holding firm at the moment. Nathan Smith in the background having a good old battle with Maximilian Maas. The two of them haven't been able to leave each other alone. Max wants to catch up with his teammate, of course, from This Is Sim Racing. One of them in this sort of lime green colour as, oh no, Shabox Kerry and John Newell making contact and contact and contact in the background. They can't get off each other. Not quite sure what went on there, but it continued on. I think there was even more argy-bargy actually coming into that hairpin. We might see more trucks sideways. Yeah, John sent it down the inside of Kerry. David West wants a piece of it as well. He's involved in this one. But Nathan Smith and Maximilian Maas having a great old scrap. Looks like Mark Taylor's had a problem at the back of the field. Unfortunately, he's dropped down behind Jose Maria Rosa at this point. A bit more contact at turn 1, I think, as Newell has tried to get past. It is like he's trying to get past, actually, just in front of him is David West. West has got past Newell. He's got Kerry in there as well. Here is John Newell. Kerry just behind. The two of them certainly making friends on that previous lap, to say the least. I can imagine now that Kerry is going to be eyeing up some sort of revenge. I'm not sure if it was John diving down the inside at the hairpin, or whether Kerry was just slow on the exit, caught John out. The two of them knocking 7 shades of blue out of each other at the moment. As Kerry again looks down the inside into Coppice, tries to find an inside line that he can tuck the nose in, doesn't quite work. Maximilian Maas still all over the back of Nathan Smith, who's holding on to truck 11, P11 right now. Through the chicane once more we go, one way then the other. See a little bit of a waggle of the tail there from Nathan Smith. Max just not able to do enough yet. Oh, he's giving him a push and another one into the hairpin. That won't go down well with Nathan Smith, who lights up the rears, gets up the revs, and look at that, he scampers off up the road. It's not often that you can say an MAN racing truck scampers, but he really did. As Kerry has again made contact with Newell, who now bounces off the side of Andreas Wagner, who tries to get in on this as well. John staying down the inside into the final hairpin. Oh, he's gone a little bit deep though. He's got a big four-wheel drift on there, and he's run wide, and Wagner's gone wide actually, and he's also been overtaken. Oh no! Alan Marney coming through. And there was big contact with Newell there. He got shoved off on the outside of the circuit. He's gone right across the road, I think. Back on now, but he's lost loads of places. Down into 25th position. It's a real shame for John Newell, but we look now, Nathan Smith his MAN. Still somehow holding on in front of Maximilian Mars. And with that evil face on the front of the Freightliner, I'm surprised that he's managed it. Terrifying looking machine, isn't it? Closes in. So be so careful about making contact on the back of these things. They really do react to contact and shove each other quite far off into the distance. Look just behind us as well, you've got Bjorn Tyhus and then Manuel Alvarez. This is a bit of a wiggle again from Nathan Smith. He couldn't quite keep it tidy on the exit of Coppice. Look at Robbie Krutov through the chicane. He took a massive amount of curve through there. I'd be surprised if he even got away with that, to be honest with you. But Robbie giving it everything as everybody now cuts the curb. As oh no, Tyhus gets into the back of Mass. Mass has been pushed off wide, gets back on the road, but Tyhus is going to go through. Got Alvarez just behind as well in this. Trying to make up some ground. There's nearly contacts on the exit. Oh, now Alvarez down the inside. No overlap there, but look, Maximilian Mars gets the run up the hill. He's going to be able to shove it back down the inside now into the hairpin. This is great racing, excellent stuff. Battles all up and down the order. Make sure, of course, if you are watching, you do like and subscribe. Subscribe to Virtual Racing. Make sure you give the video a like as well. These guys throwing everything at it right now. It's great to see that DAF CF out there, isn't it? It looks really retro, doesn't it? I absolutely love it. I mean, I've already mentioned it so many times already, but still, that's not going to change. One of my favourite looking trucks out there. Glorious machine. Manuel Alvarez, a little bit further down than we expected. He's currently 7th in the championship. Down there in 14th place right now. He knows that he needs to make up some ground, get closer to that top 10. Maybe even try and push as far as getting 8th place for the reverse grid, but still. Gain 6 places from there. It's going to take a lot of very fast pace from Alvarez, and he's going to need a lot of clear air to do that as well. Bjorn Tyhus still in 12th place. The highest placed DAF in the field, actually, and probably the only DAF in the field, I must say. We look a bit further forward now. 2 Spaniards right together, Miguel Rapero and Enrique Marcos. 2 of the drivers that did very well. Actually, the 2 drivers that won races at Jarama. It was Jorge Vila that finished in 2nd place in both races. So these pair looking to add to their win tally for the season. Into the hairpin again we go. It looks like Marcos runs a little bit wide there, but I think he got away with it, you know. Don't think it was too bad. I think he just maybe took a wider line, hoping to get a run on the exit. You can see Tyhus at the top of your screen there in the top right, still under pressure from Alvarez. This is a great battle though going on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, because these guys are closing in on Lucas Hahn. Nobody's closing in on Norbert Kiss. He's gone, he's up the road. Absolutely away with it, he is. These guys here though, all fighting for positions inside the top 5, trying to fight for podium spots. Morvai and Krutov aren't 2 miles off either, to be honest with you. As now David West looks down the inside of Chabot's Kerry. Kerry very sideways on the exit of Redgate. David can't quite get the run to get around. That's just how much torque and traction these trucks have. A huge slide like that, and Kerry didn't lose a position. It's amazing. Because you can have these things sideways and still almost be at optimum pace around the corner. David West. Maybe he was playing it patient though and backed out of it slightly to make sure that he didn't go into the back of the truck in front. As once more we go back to the front. Lucas Hahn just ahead of Marcos and Rapero. Through the chicane. This is lap 8 out of 12, it says on the timing, but we have effectively an 11 lap race. One of them, of course, counting for the green flag lap, the warm-up lap. So this is lap 7 out of 11. Down towards the hairpin again then. Maximilian Mars still finds himself with a truck filling his windscreen. Is down the inside goes Alvarez. Big send in the number 8 machine. Can he get 2 for 1 here as he bounces off? No! Bounces off the side of Tyhus on the exit. Oh, he skipped the rear end around. Had a massive old slide. Oh, and there's still trucks facing the wrong way. Alvarez has got going. Tyhus is still facing completely down the hill. He's managed to loop it around again. Lugosi's just gone past him. Unbelievable. It was like, oh, it was such a beautiful move. As Alvarez is off at the final corner, and he's gone back to the pits. Wow, Manuel Alvarez, that could be important for the championship, that, because he was right up there in 7th position, not too far off the guys ahead of him. That could be big news for his season. I can tell you that Alvarez is, well, disconnected from the server. So not a happy boy, Manuel Alvarez. He slid down the inside, and then the back end just bounced completely off the front of Bjorn Tyhus, and the two of them were dragged into the wall. It's a massive shame. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes in motorsport, I'm afraid. It was a gorgeous idea of a move anyway. It just did not work out for him in the end. This is Attila Lazar all over the back of Gergo Balai. 2 Hungarian drivers. With Andras Rus just behind them as well. Racing for wannabe SRT, one of my favourite liveries on the grid. And even behind Rus, we've got Jari Stark in the Bagheera Freightliner as well. These are all completely nose to tail. We've got the MAN from the Scania, from the MAN from the Freightliner. One of the best things about truck racing is you get the variation in all the manufacturers. You can see even the Scania T-Cab in the background there, actually, of the number 92 machine, Tibor Jabo. Still Lazar, that's actually Tibor's teammate. Lazar all over the back of Balai right now. Balai not quite holding these guys up, he's just holding enough pace at the moment to stay ahead. He's racing for the Revesh sim racing team, teammates with Norbert Kiss. His teammate is Gillian Christian, number 16. Gillian 13th place in this race at the moment. And that team leads the team's championship, so they're doing a solid job at the moment, exactly what they need to do. We have 2 more race meetings after this one this season. I'm looking forward to both of them massively. We'll be heading to Misano at the end of the championship, which will be a lot of fun. But Norbert Kiss has quite the advantage at the moment, just over 4 seconds from Lucas Hahn. Continuing to go quicker and quicker at all times. He's being cautious of track limits here, so he's not making any bad marks against his name with the stewards or the officials. Field is nicely spread out now, though, because the truck in 28th place, which is Alemani, has just made it round turn 1, and these guys are coming right to the end of the lap now. I don't think we're going to see traffic become a big issue. But we have 2 laps to go now as Norbert comes out the final corner. Very, very close for second place, though, isn't it? Look at this, Lucas Hahn having to defend quite hard here from Enrique Marcos. Enrique trying to find everything he can in terms of a gap, but Lucas not letting him have it at this point. And right now, behind them as well, Morvai is closed in on this, so he's become a bit of a party crasher, to be fair, as side by side now, Lazar around the outside of Balai into turn 1. Can he make that work? I don't think he can, although Balai's giving him the room. It's really respectful stuff from Gergo. And now Lazar around the outside, which is going to become the inside for the Craner curves. Hopefully no contact, because that'll spell disaster down here. They're so close to it. The Scania's still on the outside. The MAN on the inside. He's going to hopefully leave him enough room. Oh, there's contact and Balai's around. Balai just understeered into the side of him, unfortunately, and Roos has had to throw it off the road. Jari Stark gained some freebies in that. Oh, dearie me. It all fell apart very quickly there for Balai. I think it was plenty of room around the outside, though. I hate to say that there was anything untoward there. Stark seemed to do everything right. He was being kind. But Balai just trying to push it as hard as he can, understeered a little bit wide, bounced off the rear end of the other truck. And off he went. It was a great save though, he didn't go completely around, which was good. But Lucas Hahn still holding on to second place in this race. He needs the championship points right now, especially ahead of the man right behind him, Enrique Marcos. Is Norbert Morvai. Comes into this round of the championship in 8th place on 141 points. He's tied with Gergo Balai actually. We just saw have a big moment. Balai now down in 9th position. This is going to certainly help Norbert's championship out, as that is going to help out Angel Rapero. He goes down the inside of Marcos, but actually doesn't get the run on the exit of the corner. Marcos tried to take a wider line, trying to overtake Lucas Hahn wherever he can. We're on to the final lap of the race now. And they just float their way around turn 1 at Redgate. Robin Kroitov hasn't been able to make as many advancements here and move up to these guys quite yet. But look at the amount they're cutting the craners down there. Not sure how long they can get away with that for, but still, they're pushing the limits now. You can see the marbles and dirt and all sorts dragged onto the circuit from every single corner. But they really are throwing it at the track limits now. I'm not sure if they've got a certain amount of warnings or anything. They've got onto that final lap and they can just take advantage of it. There was a bit of a strange connection moment there with Lucas Hahn. The truck suddenly popped backwards, nearly hitting Enrique, but I'd say they got away with it. It was quite lucky. Round Coppice they go again. Very long, sweeping, almost triple apex right-hander. Really hard to get right. I've raced there in many a GT car and touring car on other simulators, and it is a nightmare of a corner. Hahn, Marcos, Rapero. Second, third, fourth. I don't think there's going to be any moves for position here. I think these guys are going to stick with this until the end as it is and not risk any major championship points. But just ahead of them, as you see there in the picture-in-picture, Truck 1 is P1 again. And Norbert Kiss is making this look very, very good this season, just like he does in the real world. He rounds the final corner, and he's going to take the race victory in round 7 of the Virtual Racing EDRC 2023. The Hungarian 4-time European champion takes another victory. Lucas Hahn finishes in second place. Great defensive work ahead of Enrique Marcos, Angel Rapero, Norbert Morvai and Robin Kroitov. Finish your top 6. Attila Lazar is going to come home in 7th position. He's just crossed the line now. And let the drifting begin as Angel Rapero finishes in 4th. Norbert Morvai is going to finish in 5th place, just ahead of the powerhouse Scania T-Cab of Robbie Kroitov. Then we have Attila Lazar in 7th position. Great defensive work from Attila. Jari Stark was in 8th place, just behind, 0.8 of a second back, and then quite the gap to Gergo Balai after that big moment down the hill. It was a real shame to see it pan out that way for Gergo. He was just ahead of Andros Roos in the number 48 machine. Another one of the drivers that had quite a busy race there, the wannabe SRT machine. Just ahead of Nathan Smith. Truck 11 did hold on to P11 in the end. He was ahead of Maximilian Mas. Number 23, Gillian Christian for Revesh Sim Racing. Then it was Artizeros, Christian Artizeros. Truck 84 was next up. Chavolks Kerry, another busy race for Chavolks. David West not finishing in 20th place this time, finished in 16th ahead of Christian Lugosi. Then we have Bjorn Tyhus finishing in 18th in the number 51 DAF. Look at that drift by Lugosi, that's gorgeous. Beautiful stuff. Bjorn Tyhus, 18th place. Just behind him, we had Gyula Zentai in the Freightliner, the Bagheera branding on the front. Henry Tyhus, 20th. John Newell, 21st. And Max Schwerty finishing his first race in the Volvo in 22nd position. Looks like there's no front bumper on that though, just because of how the intercooler glows. It's a very bright machine. Andreas Wagner Speaking of Brighton, the Rising Suns Motorsport truck, he was ahead of Jose Maria Rosa. Jose, one of the drivers that was right up in the sharp end at Jarama. But after that issue on the green flag lap, he never really came to fruition, I'm afraid. Hendrik Neitsch finishes just behind Jose Alemani for the Panos Albacete racing team. Mark Taylor in his brand new number 81 machine, looking very good, but I'm afraid down in 27th position. And then the last finisher in the race in 28th position was Tibor Jabo in the number 92 Scania T-Cab. There he is doing some drifting of his own. A little bit of lawn mowing here at Donington Park. And there is your very busy pit lane with everybody making their way back in. And the session will now tick over to the next race. So as the session just gets set up here, just bear with me one moment. I'm just going to grab myself a quick drink and I'll be right back with you. And then we'll get the second race underway. We'll be heading to our grid shortly. Okay, then, time to get the second race of the night underway. And as you'll see here at the very front of the grid, we have one of the This Is Sim Racing machines. It's going to be not Maximilian Mars, but his teammate, Jari Stark, that will start on the front row of the grid. He's going to be alongside Attila Lazar, two drivers that were right in the thick of it in that first race. Hope you really enjoyed that one. Should be a lot of fun this second race, though, with a bit of reverse grid thrown in there. Certainly adds quite a lot of spice to the action. Anything that you're expecting from this race, let us know in the chat what you thought of that first one and who you've got your money on here. I'd say Robin Kroitov isn't a bad shout from third on the grid. He's always right up there. He's got great consistency. Didn't quite have the pace in that first race, though. So I'm intrigued to see what he could do there from that part of the grid. There was a chat message actually in the server before. Enrique Marcos asking if Lucas Hahn was having some lag problems. We saw it ourselves when Lucas's car sort of hopped backwards. Andreas Wagner was not too chuffed with being spun around partway through that race, it seems. And now Wagner's got quite a bit of work to do to come back through the order here. Michael Boris in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're very well indeed. Hope you're having a good evening. We're not going to be too far away now from the field getting going. There's a few trucks that are actually sat in the pit lane at this moment in time. We just need to wait for them to make it to the grid. Bjorn Tyhus, Henry Tyhus, Max Schwerty, and Jose Maria Rosa all in the pits. But for now, a little bit of quiet and calm falls over Donington Park, which doesn't happen often, to be honest with you. I have to just wait and see how it all pans out. This is the thing. You never know, really, in these races. We thought that we were going to have a very calm and tidy first race back at Harama, and then that was where it really kicked off at the first corner with big contacts. All it takes is for one of these trucks to outbrake themselves, and they can suddenly go flying into the truck in front. And we've seen the contact here. They can be very sensitive to just the tiniest tap that can really throw them up in the air. As we now have the lights coming on at the top. Of course, this will not be a standing start. And now they get underway. Let's go through our grid then, shall we? It's going to be at the very front, the number 31 machine of Jari Stark that is going to lead the way. Jari is going to be certainly keeping his eyes on his rear view mirrors at this point. Attila Lazar will start alongside on the front row. Then we're going to have Robin Kruithoff and Norbert Morvai. A very exciting row two, actually, there. Then we have Angel Rapero and Enrique Marcos side by side. Norbert Kiss is just behind Lucas Hahn on row 4. The two of them had, let's just say, a busy second race at Harama. A lot of argy-bargy in contact as they made their way back through the pack. Gogo Balai and Andras Roos are together on the 5th row of the grid, with Maximilian Maas and Nathan Smith just behind. Then we have Christian Artezeros alongside Gillian Christian on the 7th row. Shabox Kerry is next up alongside David West. Lugosi and Tyhus make up row 9. Zentai in truck number 70 in 19th position. John Newell in there in 20th place. He's ready for another good old scrap in this race, I'm sure. Certainly trying to get his elbows out a bit in that last one and defend his position. This time he's going to want to go forward from being that far down. Schwerty is next up in 22nd place with Andreas Wagner in 23rd. Jose Maria Rosa right down there, but look for him coming through the order. Then we have just behind him the, oh apologies, I've just changed, the number 80 machine of Hendrik Neitsch. He's going to be coming through for 25th. Then it's Alamani, Taylor and Tibor Jabo at the back of the pack. It doesn't look like we've had a return for, was it Manuel Alvarez that disappeared? He did, yes. Manuel Alvarez not making it back onto the grid for this race either, so clearly very unhappy with the moment earlier on. But we're coming to the end of the green flag lap now. Let us know what you think in the chat, everybody. Anyone that you want to keep your eye on, anyone you think will be a definite winner here. I think Robin Kruithoff, personally, is going to be a good shout. He's on the inside line for turn 1, and so long as he survives the opening lap and any argy-bargy, he could definitely be within a shouting chance here in the Rainbow Warrior Scania T-Cab. So, 4th race meeting of the season at Donington Park has already had a belter of a first race. Norbert Kiss taking the win, but with the reverse grid on our hands, the top 8 reversed, we are now underway for round 8 of the Virtual Racing EDRC 2023. There's already contact there. Lucas Hahn into the back of Angel Rapero, who's running Norbert Kiss way out of road, pushes him off the side of the circuit. Nice tidy start for Jari Stark, though. Gets away well. Nathan Smith down the inside there of Balai in the number 86. Any argy-bargy in front? Doesn't look like it. Looks like Norbert Kiss hasn't been able to get past Rapero, though. Oh, who was that? Flying out sideways. I think that was one of the Spanish drivers, Alamani, going off the road as Robin Kruithoff has got past Jari Stark already. Goes into the race lead. As sideways goes Enrique Marcos, one of the championship protagonists. Completely sideways into the old hairpin. Somehow survives it. Rapero and Kish still making contact. The two of them are not leaving each other alone, and Rapero is not giving Norbert Kiss a single inch of road here. There's Nathan Smith side by side with Roos in the number 48 into McLean's. You can imagine there's going to be a bit of frustration on Norby's part right now, though, because Rapero on multiple occasions has pushed him off the road, not giving him the room. As Mark Taylor's around in the background in his brand new racing machine, which he's had from Sasha Lenz off the back of last season. Mark Taylor was off. I think he might have bounced off the inside of another truck around him. Into the chicane for the first time. Robin Kruithoff leading the way. The Rainbow Warrior truck racing machine The Scania T-Cab looks fantastic out at the front as Tyhus and Kerry side by side, numbers 51 and 79. But look at this, Scania T-Cab leading the way, the big old beast that it is. Robin Kruithoff, the star, right at the front end of the pack now. Said it'd be important if he survived the mayhem. We've had a few trucks come to trouble at the bottom of the hill. Oh, the Volvo's around. That was the Volvo of Schwerty, number 58, having problems at the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Gail in the chat. Good to see you, Gail. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful day. As Robin Kruithoff, understandably, sets the fastest lap of the race on that first lap. You can see there the number 32 popping back to the pit lane. That was Lugosi. Lugosi came into this round of the championship down in 13th, hoping for more. And he's already become this race's first casualty. Newell and Taylor both having issues on the first lap. And unfortunately, it looks like they are going to be right at the back of the pack from the get-go here. Two of our real-world racing drivers in this championship both coming to strife. Here's David West, still inside the top 20, as he always is. There's Balai's way off the road. He's almost at Silverstone. He's that far off. Comes back on completely sideways. Still can't quite catch the back end. We're hoping to get that moving again very, very soon. But still, big old moment. I think he might have lost a few places from that as well. He's dropped behind Maximilian Mars now into 12th place. Here's Nathan Smith. He was having to defend so hard in that first race earlier on. He tried to stay ahead of, I think it was Maximilian Mars, wasn't it, that he was defending from. Here's Norbert Kiss up to 7th. He started 8th, so he's gained just the one spot so far. He's doing well with it right now as they head down towards the hairpin for the second time of asking. Look how close they all are as well, absolutely glued to one another. Norby just floating off the back of Angel Repero's truck. Gives him a bit of a tap. Lucas Hahn waiting in the wings there. Look at the height difference between the Iveco and the MAN. The MAN using its height to its advantage with that really smooth curved top, whereas the Scanias and the Ivecos have this really flat square top. You can see the 87 Scania of Repero. It's almost like someone's just smacked it with a frying pan from the top. It really has flattened out the roof, but almost looks aggressive for it, you know. Really, really cool to look at. Enrique Marcos holding on right now. I'm not even sure how he's still on the circuit, to be honest with you, because that earlier moment down in towards the old hairpin was amazing. Really amazing moment for him. Going through said old hairpin again. He's got Repero all over the back of him, his countryman. Norbert Morby just in front. Doesn't seem to be under threat right now, and he in turn is not threatening either of the drivers ahead of him. Lazar and Stark both holding on to their positions nicely right now as Robin Kruithoff continues to just edge away that tiny little bit. It's 1.35 seconds at the moment, and it's not varying a lot at all. Some of these drivers are so on the limit, and they are right up there in terms of what can be done with these racing machines. They've got them so well figured out. Repero moving around quite a bit now behind Enrique, just trying to maybe unsettle him a little bit, just to put the pressure on. We go on board now with Angel Repero, truckracing.es number 87 machine. You see again a little bit of correction there to carry the momentum. Norbert Kiss moving one way than the other. You see that little red marker at the bottom of the screen there, that indicates where there is a truck and a fellow competitor, and you can see that Norbert Kiss has gone down the inside and he's gone through. Is he going to leave room on the exit? Oh, only just enough room. I think there was a tiny tap that sent Repero out wide. Now Norby covers the inside line for this hairpin. Lucas Hahn wants a piece of this. He goes down the inside. Iveco on Scania. Repero leaves the room. Lovely job. Whoa, there's a bit of a tap on the exit though. Is Repero going to give it back? We're just watching the roof as behind them Smith and Mass completely side by side. At the last corner, Smith moves over on him. Unnecessarily, I must add. Wow. Busy racing yet again as Repero gets very sideways. Lucas Hahn has to work very hard there not to go to the back of him and turn him around. It could have been so easy there for Hahn just to give him a tap and throw him out of the race, but good respect from Lucas means that both of them continue. This is the trio just off the back of that. Maximilian Mars tucked in here between Nathan Smith and Andras Roos in truck 48, the wannabe SRT entry. They now scream their way up towards McLean's. Mars tries to get alongside, has got alongside. Oh, that was close stuff there. I don't think Nathan Smith knew that he quite had the overlap. Now it's gone on the exit of McLean's, but look at Bruce here in the black and yellow number 48. He wants a piece of the pie. He certainly feels like he can take advantage of this in a bit of time. There's a tiny push from Mars on the back of Nathan Smith. It's not going to do too much for either of you around Coppice. And on the exit, Lugosi definitely out of this race, I'm afraid. So the early incident was a bit too much, and he has not continued on. Look at how much curb and runoff they take over the chicane. I know I said at the top of the broadcast that it's going to be tough around here because there is no runoff, but you can still use it there as well. Roos has to slam on the brakes, loses it, but he gets 2 freebies. Nathan Smith moves over to the left. It looked like he just completely turned across Maximilian Mars. I'm not sure if he just lost it on the brakes or what. It didn't look great from Nathan Smith. Luckily, I've got the broadcast on my left-hand screen as well. Smith's absolutely done Roos there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've got the broadcast on my left-hand screen, and obviously with a delay I can see what happened again, and it just looks like Nathan just didn't leave enough room to his left-hand side of where Maximilian Mars was, I'm afraid. This is the truck in 3rd place now, Norbert Morvai, and he's not really catching Jari Stark. He's more under pressure from Attila Lazar and Enrique Marcos and Norbert Kiss, who's got past Angel Rapero. So Morvai needs to hold on to his hat right now and make sure that he doesn't overdo it. He's 8th in the championship coming into this, tied for 8th place, I should say, with Gego Balai for Revenge Sim Racing. Both of them came into this on 141 points, with Norbert Kiss on 181. With a lot of these drivers this close in front of him, Norbert could easily just sit there right now and hold this spot as Enrique Marcos is out wide. Very wide at Coppice. I'm not sure if he got a hit there from Norbert. Don't think he did. I think he just maybe pushed in a little bit too hard on the brakes and overdid it. Lucas Hahn still at the back of this pack, waiting to see. He's just waiting for the opportunity to come his way, I think. He's not quite been able to outdo any of them yet, but saying that, Enrique Marcos, after having that little moment not long ago, he's going to still have that fresh in his memory. Lucas sends it up the inside. Oh, big shoulder barge there. One way, then the other. And somehow Marcos has just got back in front. I didn't think there was an overlap there, so it scared me a little bit that Lucas was still coming over to the left. Now going to try and tuck it in and get a good run on the exit. That doesn't quite work for him. That Actros looks very good, and it goes very good as well. You love to see it. Round Redgate they go once again. Looks so smooth around there, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like it when you're behind the wheel, though. It feels like a nightmare of a corner. Attila Lazar here under pressure from Norbert Kiss. This is perfect for Morvai. This is exactly what Morvai wants. As look at Rapero round the outside. Oh, no, he's absolutely elbowed his way past Attila Lazar. Just overdid it slightly, did Rapero. He gets through. It wasn't too bad, but still, he just didn't quite correct the momentum of the machine. It still swung over to the left. And Lazar has been thrown out to the side. The man that came into this round 12th in the championship. There's a big slide there by Enrique Marcos just behind them. It's very lively, all of this. A lot going on. There's a lot more space here to fight, though, than there was at Harama. Lucas Hahn still in 8th place, not able to make any moves forward. Although looking at it, they've lost a lot of ground to the trucks in front. That must have just been that moment that they had on the exit of McLean's. There you go, the absolute wall of trucks ahead of them making its way around the hairpin, but they've got, yeah, a good 3 and a bit seconds now to Enrique Marcos just ahead. Sorry, not Enrique, Attila Lazar, my apologies. Now Norbert Kiss continuing to push on here. He's got Reparo behind him, and then Attila Lazar. But now he's got a bit of clear air. He can use that to his advantage and really throw himself forward and go chasing after Norbert Morvite for a podium. We're on lap 7 out of 11 here. Basically take 1 off each of the values in the top of your screen. It may say 12 laps, but it is 11 laps. Whoa, dearie me! Bjorn Taihu slams into the side of David West, and I imagine if David had headlights, he would be flashing them profusely right now. Bjorn just let the truck run out a little bit wide. My favourite looking truck in the field. Maybe have a couple of dents in the front of it right now. Eva Maximova in the chat saying Vamos Reparo. Reparo currently in 5th place, as we see here, chasing down Norbert Kiss. The two of them probably working, I'm not going to say working together, but both of them are pushing forward now to go chasing Morvite. Round Coppice they go. Long sweeping right-hander. Over the small crest of the hill there, where the Dunlop Bridge used to be, the legendary Dunlop Bridge. I think it was Chris Evans, the radio host from the UK, that bought that bridge. I think I remember roughly hearing a story there about that. It's a shame not to see Sasha Lenz out there tonight, by the way, but Sasha, as I was saying earlier on, is very busy ahead of the 2023 season. He's going to be building a lot of racing trucks for this season. I believe there's 4 on the go at the moment that are under Sasha's supervision. And as I said, he makes some of the finest racing trucks in the world. And everybody always praises the safety of Sasha's trucks and his roll cages and just how good his chassis are as well. So he's prioritising that for the moment. You just see John Newell in the very background there and Mark Taylor as they continue on their race. Both of them just ahead of Jose Maria Rosa into the chicane. But this now is the battle for second position all of a sudden. I was going to say before that Morvite dropped back from Jari Stark and didn't look like he was making too many advances. But right now, he's picked up the pace again. That last lap from him was a 1:53.5, and, well, Jari Stark did a 1:53.9. It was a 1:53.9 from Robin Kreuthoff as well. So these guys both closing in. Norbert Kiss was another 2 tenths quicker than that, 1:53.3, and he was 7 tenths clear of Reparo. So Norby the fastest of the top 4, then Morvite, then Stark, then Kreuthoff. So it's completely backwards on itself in terms of their pace at the moment relative to their positions. Gillian Christian, 17th place at the minute, 9 tenths of a second off Schwerty just in front. Schwerty in the Volvo, which is good to see. The Volvo FL, I believe it is. Yes, it is. The 58. Still pushing on. He had a bit of a busy first race. Didn't quite get the result that he would have wanted. I think he was 23rd in the first race. He's moved forward from there. And now Norbert Kiss all over the back of Morvite. And by all over the back, I mean he's still a few truck lengths away. Through the chicane, one way then the other. Look at the weight transfer there. Norby really swings the back end of the truck out and then swings it back the other way. Rather than waiting for the front end to bite, he just throws the back end in, almost karting style, you know, just gets it sliding and controls the momentum on the exit. Great driving ability from Norbert Kiss. We've seen it in the real world many times over. We've seen it in the sim racing world many times over. Certainly shows you that the formula is there, doesn't it, for Norbert Kiss? He knows what he's doing. He's a good lad as well. Good laugh. I always enjoy seeing him in the paddock. Him and his team are very welcoming of me and very friendly. As, oh, hello, that's not very friendly and welcoming there. Jose Maria Rosa and Mark Taylor coming together at Coppice. Mark off the road. Angel Reparo, fastest lap of the race last time around, a 1:53.294. Very good lap indeed. Purple Sector 2 and Sector 3. He's a 10th of a second quicker in both of those sectors than Norbert Kiss was on that last lap. But yeah, at the mention of some of the teams in the paddock, I am absolutely itching to get back out there and see them all again. Was that a pair of Eurofighter Typhoons that just flew over? I'm not sure if... I'm going to see that back on the broadcast, but just over the crest of the hill a moment ago, I'm very sure that there was a pair of Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets animated to fly over Donington Park, which is very cool in itself. We don't get Eurofighter Typhoons at East Midlands Airport, I'm afraid, which is just over the road, but still, the fact that someone's gone to the effort of adding that in is really cool. I know that they have the aircraft, like the commercial airliners and freighters and general aviation machines in there, but still. Maybe I'm getting a little bit nerdy now with my planes, so apologies. In terms of the race going on, though, this is Morvai, and he's now between Stark and Norby. And then behind them as well, Angel Reparo in this as well. Gail in the chat saying, is it Hyra Norby or like Hoorah Norby? I could never remember, apologies. I've not been really polishing up on my Hungarian since we last spoke. Enrique Marcos and Attila Lazar having a fight in the background as well. And it's a front row seat for Lucas Hahn, who gets to see all of this. Enrique Marcos and Lucas right together in the championship fight. Enrique gets a decent run out the final corner, doesn't have to worry about Lucas for now. We've got one more lap to go after this one, and at the moment Robin Kruithoff leading this race. He's just going through turn 1, just on the exit of turn 1. The battle is on for second place though. They've all really concertinaed together here. Jari Stark, Norbert Morvai, Norbert Kiss and Angel Reparo. Look at the four of them. They could make a barbershop quartet right now. We've got 4 different manufacturers as well. We've got the Bagheera Freightliner, then the Iveco, then we've got the MAN, and then the Scania at the back of this as well, Angel Reparo. So 4 different trucks, all fighting for 2 podium places. Let's see who can do it. So it's Hoira. Thank you very much, Gail. Great to see you as well. Look at these 3 now into McLean's. Great stuff by Morvai. Really parks it on the apex. Needs to be careful though, because it's very easy to park it on the apex and just get a shove in the rear if you're going that little bit too slow. And the truck behind will push you out of the way. You can see there, Norby does not want to be mucked about with here. He doesn't want to be waiting behind the truck in front to make up its mind. This is all played into the hands, though, of Robin Kruithoff and Jari Stark. The 2 of them doing a great job at the front of the field so far during this round. And I know it's going to be a very popular victory if Robbie can just hold on to it for one more lap. Let's look at this now. Norbert Kiss moves all the way over to the right-hand side on Morvai. They may be namesakes, but there's no love lost. Down the inside goes Norbert Kiss. Is he going to make it? There's a tiny touch. Morvai's pushed wide. And look at that down the inside. Reparo says thank you. Bounces off the side of the Revage machine. And all of a sudden, Reparo ends up in 3rd position. It was very opportunistic. But Norbert Kiss is now going to throw it back down the inside into the hairpin. He knows exactly what to do on the brakes here. Reparo's got it too deep. He's got too excited. And all of a sudden, service is resumed as contact between Morvai and Reparo. Oh, Reparo runs out wide. And as again I said before, he'll be flashing the headlights right now if he wasn't. Well, if he had headlights on that thing, they've just got stickers on most of them. But Norbert Kiss moves up into 3rd. Oh, that was unnecessary. A big old biff there from Reparo into the back of Norbert Morvai, and he's been turned around. Oh, that was naughty upon naughty from Angel Reparo. We don't condone that one, sir. It looked like a bit of retaliation there, didn't it, by Reparo, unfortunately. He may have just missed his braking point and tried to throw it up the inside into turn 1, but it didn't look great. I'm afraid that may get him quite the slap on the wrists. Robin Kruithoff continues to lead. Jari Stark 2nd, Norbert Kiss 3rd. And right now, Enrique Marcos is all over the back of Attila Lazar, and he has been for what feels like 3 to 5 working days. He's got a great run out of McLean's, though. Can he throw it on the inside into there? No, he's not going to do it yet. I think he may wait for the final couple of hairpins, actually, before he makes a move around Lucas Hahn as well. Lucas has been so patient throughout this race. Involved in a lot of contact and argy-bargy at Harama, but he's been a lot more reserved in this round of the championship, maybe not wanting to get the wrath of the stewards. But Robin Kruithoff is just going through the penultimate hairpin now. Jari Stark has really closed in, you know. I don't think he's going to be able to do enough, as there's the move by Enrique Marcos down the inside of Lazar. And I think Lucas Hahn's patience here is going to pay off, is it? It's more and more contact between the 2 of them, but it's going to be a very popular victory at the front of the field, because round the final corner and across the line, Robin Kruithoff takes the win. It's got out of hand at the final hairpin. 2nd place goes to Jari Stark. What a result. Norbert Kiss next up. Lazar now bounces off the side of Lucas Hahn. But again, some unnecessary contact there into the final corner. Lucas and Attila there having a bit of a fallout across the line. But there's your race winner, Robin Kruithoff, the Rainbow Warrior, takes a win in the Scania T-Cab in round 8 of the championship. And he'll be over the moon with that, as you see here from the celebration. Yari Stark for This Is Sim Racing. Great second place, that is. Well done to Yari. That'll help out massively in the championship. He and his teammate were actually celebrating a tie on 124 points coming into this round in 10th place. Norbert Kiss, great night for Norby, first and third in each of tonight's races. That puts him right up there in the championship, ahead now of Enrique Marcos by even more points. Enrique finished in 8th place. And I can tell you for one, he is not happy about that contact there with Lucas Hahn. Lucas giving him quite the shove into the final hairpin. Attila Lazar still came home there in 6th place after all of that. He was very busy throughout that entire race and managed to bring it home. Norbert Morvai will be a bit gutted with that one after being shoved off the road in the later stages by Reparo. Marcos finished in 8th place. Again, like I say, not very happy with the contact at the end of that one, but who would be? Andres Roos finishes in 9th, with Gergo Balai crossing the line in 10th position. Shabox Kerry finished in 11th. That's a really, really good job. And then Maximilian Maas was 12th, Nathan Smith finishing in 13th. Bjorn Tyhus 14th, David West was just behind in 15th position in the MAN for West Racing. Truck 16, P16 for Gillian Christian. And Christian Artiseros was next up ahead of Max Schwerty in the Volvo, who we see crossing the line here, drifting his way around turn 1. His first appearance this season. Oh dearie me, the number 15 of Henry Tyhus having a big old spin. Whoa! Enrique Marcos smacking into the back of, who was that there? Didn't quite see. There is your race winner though, look at this. Lovely stuff by Robin Kreuthoff in the Scania T-Cab. Oh, here comes Reparo around the last corner. Fantastic sight this, the Scania T-Cab. The most unlikely of racing trucks, looking amazing. And Robin Kreuthoff doing it justice, lighting up the rears. A lovely burnout. This is what you love to see, isn't it? All of the burnouts. It doesn't need those rear tyres anymore. And it clearly means a lot to Robin Kreuthoff. And that is the server then ticking over. And the end of our night of racing here on Virtual Racing. That was a absolutely amazing night, wasn't it? Next up, on the 19th of March, we head to Poznan in Poland, a circuit that's actually going to be visited by the Real World Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship this year. And then Misano on the 2nd of April. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But thank you very much for joining us tonight, everybody. I've been Chaz Draycott. This has been Virtual Racing and the EDRC 2023. Really hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time. Kreuthoff and Kish take the wins tonight. And let's see what they can do next time. Good night, everybody.